Fitness and Nutrition was taken to court by town officials last month after reopening Fitness and Nutrition was taken to court after reopening the gym. A new court order was issued last week requiring Blondin to close, but the gym was open again this week. Blondin says he's risking possible arrest and imprisonment, but plans to appeal the order. He feels it is wrong.
ON Radio.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. The high cost of land these days often makes for densely packed neighborhoods. If you live in close quarters, planting shrubbery is a great way to add privacy to your home. Shrubs also boost curb appeal, but that's only if you keep them pruned and healthy. Pay attention to when each plant blooms. Prune spring-flowering shrubs as soon as the buds bloom, but wait to cut summer-flowering plants until late winter or early spring when they're dormant. Throughout the year, cut off diseased or broken branches and keep shrubs from getting too dense so they have enough light and air at their centers. Prune out the side branches at ground level. Cut them within a quarter inch of the main stem so the branches will heal quickly and not be in danger from insects or disease. If you want your shrubs to be the same height, don't just shear off the tops. That'll stimulate new growth. It's better to cut branches individually. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Allstate has new lower auto rates. Nope. Allstate has new lower auto rates. Allstate has new lower auto rates. Allstate has new lower auto rates.
Allstate has new lower auto rates. There we go. For new lower auto rates, visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email at joe@onesocketradio.com. And now let's join the Coffee and panel on ON 1240, WOON One Socket Radio.
And a good morning to you. It is Coffee and time on ON AM and FM. And it's Thursday morning. It's June 11th. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan. How are you? Dave Richards is here. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
I'm just fine, thank you, and getting better every day.
Excellent. Now, joining us on the phone, I hope they're both there, Attorney Bob Lauder. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well. And Linda Plays, Director of Human Services in the City of Woonsocket, is with us as well. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning.
Hey, Linda. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. You guys did such a great job on that Memorial Day video.
Were you in charge? Were you in charge of that, Linda?
I was in other people.
She was also the mistress of ceremonies.
I have to thank our veterans, our UVC, United Veterans Council, for also being a huge part of it, and also our Woonsocket High School seniors that also took part in the ceremony.
As they do every year, right?
They do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we tried to make it as memorable and special as we possibly could, with considering the circumstances that we had to deal with in regards to social distancing. Mm-hmm. So it all worked out very well.
Yeah, you did a fine job, Linda. I know you're filling in for the mayor today. Because she's busy. That'll happen with executives. What did Lisa tell you to tell us?
I'm here to talk to you about anything you want to talk about.
Nothing specific.
I can talk to you about...
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was a special message she gave you for us.
I'm here to talk to you about some food access for seniors, if that's something we can do. And I also do want to remind people about... the significance and importance of signing up for Code Red.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, we're still doing that, huh? I mean, we signed up when it first came out, so you still have some people that aren't signed up?
Yeah, so let's talk about that because given everything that's going on and always being involved and in touch with your community, sometimes people don't have the time to read a newspaper or listen to the radio or, you know, everybody's going about their daily lives and everybody's very, very busy. But one of the things that we can do as a community is to give you this very important tool called Code Red, which is a emergency and general notification system. And the beauty of it is you get to decide how you want to be contacted. So there's multiple ways. Some people choose all 3 or 4 ways, and some people just choose what's best for them. So you can get a phone call on your home phone, which surprisingly a lot of people still have. You can get a phone call on your cell phone. You can get an email, and you can also get a text message, which is probably what a lot of people choose because it's an indiscreet way of getting a message while you could still be at work but keeping informed about what's going on. So,
and it worked very well last week when the curfew went into place because it went out on Code Red, and when the curfew was rescinded as well.
Yeah, and it works best when the more people that have Code Red, the better it is for us as a community. So I did sign a lot of people up last week, and it's very, very simple to do. It takes about 30 seconds.
There's no swabs up your nose or anything, Linda?
There's nothing like that. It's not painful. You just have to let me know your name, your address, your way of choosing to be notified. And if you do want to get text messages, we do have to ask you who your phone carrier is. So that's it.
Is the best way to contact you, Linda, at City Hall?
I'd be happy to take some calls, and I'll give you my direct office number. It's 767-9282. You can also sign up through the City of Woonsocket's website and also the Woonsocket Police and Fire Department's website. There's a link there for Code Red.
All right, very good. And it works. And it works very well.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. It's kind of. I'll use a snowstorm for example. If I'm home during some bad weather and everything starts binging, like my house phone and my cell phone and every notification system I have, I always know that Code Red is coming in and it's working, and it's a great tool. So, and it's not only for emergencies. Sometimes we use it for general notifications as well, and that's the good thing about it. You don't get it, when there's an emergency. You get it when possibly we have, a broken water main or something like that, and just to let you know in your neighborhood to be on the lookout. So,
very good. Bob, you doing okay over there?
I am. I'm glad to hear about Code Red. I received the telephone alerts, and I didn't realize how that ever got set up. I just thought it was something that was automatic, and now I realize that either my staff or my wife was smart enough to do what Linda had suggested and get onto the system.
And so it worked well for you, and you were completely informed, right, Bob?
As informed as I can possibly be. Yes.
All right.
I didn't have you telling me about sports, but it was good stuff.
Well, I'm working with Linda on that, just to
good.
to attack your phone.
Oh, good.
Oh dear! Don't even joke about that stuff. Somebody will get the wrong idea.
All right. Linda, you must have been pretty busy over the last couple of months, Director of Human Services, with the whole COVID-19. Because, as I like to say about Linda, when the calls come into City Hall, and if they don't know where the call should go,
give it to Linda.
It goes to Linda.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Linda. It's just the way it works out.
That's okay. It's human services, and I have to tell you, for the past, and the date just resonates with me so clearly, is that week of March 16th and March 17th and March 21st, we had a state community official call with the state of Rhode Island and the governor's office, and one of the tasks that they did indicate through the Department of Healthy Aging, which used to be the Division of Elderly Affairs, is every community had to come up with a food access plan for seniors and vulnerable residents And this is something of a magnitude that I've never had to deal with.
Sure,
but
it's citywide.
It was something that we needed to do. So it took some careful thought on my part, and we had about 8 hours to complete this task because Monday morning we were hitting the ground running. So that Saturday night, I went into City Hall and wrote our narrative. I sent it in. It had to be in by 9 o'clock on Sunday morning for them to review. And we had to answer some questions about who the point of contact would be, what distribution center we would have, how many residents that we thought we would have to serve. And that, that was a number that, again, I've never had to come up with a food plan for major access. So I did it, and we got our first food delivery from the Rhode Island Food Bank, and we've been using the Woonsocket Senior Center as our distribution center. And let me tell you, I think we've been fine-tuning it as we go along, but we really, really we hit the mark from day one. So we had about 10 different stations. So we had the food was all separate. So everybody got dry food, which is something you can use that's not perishable, that you can give to people. So it had some beans and rice and some cereal, some canned pasta, some peanut butter and jelly, crackers, things like that will hold people over. But there were a lot of people, and there's still a lot of people that aren't able to get out because of, they're vulnerable medically to go to a supermarket or something. A lot of people don't have family. So we have 3 different components now. We have a dry food box delivery, which I think I'm on version 5 now. So to give people a little bit of variety, we've come up with different versions of this dry box with the Rhode Island Food Bank. So we're very thankful for their partnership. We also have Meals on Wheels. So when this pandemic crisis started, Meals on Wheels has lifted all the different criteria if you did apply for Meals on Wheels, if I did a referral for somebody. So it was anybody that was eligible in the city of Woonsocket that needed to receive this food, we get that as well. So I have another list of people that, and I personally like to do the deliveries myself, so I've, accommodated my schedule at 5 or 6 o'clock every night. I go and I have 4 or 5 people that I bring food to, and it gives me a chance to keep in touch with them, to see how they're doing, to see if they have any needs. Then about a month and a half ago, we got another phone call from the Department of Healthy Aging that said they had a corporate sponsor who was donating dinner meals, so fresh dinner meals, portion control, which was a really good, high-quality food, and we have that we've been distributing, too. It was supposed to only be a month, but they just extended it, and I'm happy to say that the city of Woonsocket 2 days a week gets 500 portions, so 1,000 of these portions get delivered to people in all different capacities, the high-rises, the private complexes, people that live in their own homes, people that come to the senior center that get the congregate lunches, they get these meals. Anybody that's living in their home or an apartment, anybody that doesn't know about this, you do now. Please, I encourage you to call my office, and we'll make sure that we get these items to you. And I'll give you my number again. It's 767-9282.
Do you deliver, Linda? Are you delivering to the high rises and to these other people 7 days a week?
It was 7 days a week, but we've just been doing it, six at the current time. So I have a very small staff of volunteers with trucks that come and help me, and it's like it's like I said, we fine tune the process, and it works really, really well. So.
It's an amazing project. Linda, how did you even start to figure out how many people could be involved in this?
So what I did was I kind of took a look at our senior exemption list. So it lets me know who's living in homes or apartments. I have an idea of who lives in all the different facilities because I kind of know their numbers. So it's kind of like a numbers putting together and trying to figure out to come up with this magic number. And I have to say, honestly, through some magic that working together with these wonderful agencies, we're able to put it together, and it's worked so far. So since March 21st. So
was the start.
Linda,
Okay.
how many people are beneficiaries of the program right now?
So I would say in the combination, so it's all the different programs combined. You're talking about maybe 1,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need volunteers to help you in anything.
If you'd like to give me a call, I'd certainly be happy to speak to you. Yeah, anybody.
What would you be needing volunteers to do?
Deliveries. Like I said, when I end my day at City Hall at 5 o'clock at night, I usually go and do my Meals on Wheels deliveries, and I like doing that. I have 4 or 5 people on my route. I have my Monday route, my Tuesday route. Usually my Saturday route's a little bit larger, but it gives me a chance to meet people. And the beauty of this, I know we've been through a crisis and a health pandemic that none of us have ever seen before. It's given me the opportunity to meet people and cross paths with people that I probably never would have in this great community. And that's what I'm very, very thankful for.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program. We're talking with Linda Plays, Director of Human Services for the City of Woonsocket. Bob Lauder is here. Dave Richards is here. And we do have one message that's been written in. I just wanted to get this in before the break. And it's really to you, Linda. It says, Linda Plays is an angel and a blessing to the community. Yay, Linda.
Oh,
so you got a fan out there, Linda.
All right. That's
right.
pretty cool.
Comments and questions can be called in, 766-1240, or email them in to me, joe@woonsocketradio.com. The Castle Luncheonette will stay open for takeout until further notice. You can still get those wonderful dynamites and fresh clam cakes and chowder to go for either lunch or dinner. Gift cards are available for purchase, too, at the Castle Luncheonette. Diane and the staff at the Castle Luncheonette on Social Street in Woonsocket is ready to serve their entire menu to you, and you can enjoy it in your home. The Castle Luncheonette is ready to serve you.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. Kara, what can you tell me about the insurance industry?
The industry changes so frequently due to many different factors, things like increased weather-related storms, the invention of smartphones and social media, which increase the amount of distracted drivers, even the cost of cars. Today, people are buying $30,000, $40,000, even $50,000 cars with every kind of option you can think of. All these things impact the insurance industry, and it's important to keep current.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Our lives have changed in many ways since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Spending more time at home has given us opportunities to organize, try new recipes, and take virtual fitness classes. We've embraced distant learning and connect with work and friends through Zoom meetings. But what about your children's mental health? Have you talked to them and asked them how they're feeling? Remember to check in with your kids. Take a walk with them, share a meal, and offer your support. Talk early, talk often, talk now.
This message sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Prevention Coalition and the Department of Behavioral Health Care, Developmental Disabilities, and Hospitals.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
WOON Woonsocket Radio.
Coffee and on ON, AM, and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Linda Plays from the City of Woonsocket. Dave Richards is here as well.
Hi there.
So, Linda, the recipients, did they know when you first started it, did they know this, you were coming or the people were coming to deliver food? And they must have been surprised and quite happy when you were dropping food off for them.
Yes, so we sent them a nice nice letter letting them know about the program that we were doing. And it was a letter from the mayor just letting them know that, these are uncharted times that we're going through, but we understand that they weren't able to access food and needed to get us to bring it to them. And we were happy to do that. And also, if there's any other needs that they had, they were always, we were always here to answer the call and help.
Yes,
And that did happen. So there were people that were calling that didn't have access to medicine.
Right.
So we were able to assist with that. There are a few people that were able to help. And like I said, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't have family around here. And their family was very grateful that they have somebody that they could reach out to say, hey, listen, we're really glad that the mayor's there to help our family member, and that you're here to help our family member, and we really appreciate what you're doing. Because and I'll use as an example, there's an elderly woman, her son lives in California. He's working in an industry where he just can't come and fly here to help her, and he was very grateful that we were able to help her when she had a little bit of a glitch going on with getting her prescriptions, and we were able to do that. So, like I said, it wasn't just giving food to people, it's also checking on your residents and making sure you're okay, and doing other referrals. I've done referrals for personal home care services for people because, again, I've never possibly would have had the interaction with them had we not done this. So I have to say it's been phenomenal. It's worked out really, really well. And again, if there's anyone that feels like they have a need, please feel free to give me a call.
Yeah, and Linda, we early on, Joe, I called Linda because you'll remember, Linda, we had a lady who just returned from the hospital. Now, she's not going to be going out grocery shopping.
Right. And
she would ask favors, but nobody could find her any toilet paper. You know how it was.
Well, tough back then in March.
Yeah, so I said, listen, if you got an impossible job, call Linda Plays. Lisa always told me that. If it's an impossible job, we'll get Linda to do it. So anyway, I called Linda, and Linda says, yep, I know what to do. She said, thank you very much. Hung up the phone, and next thing you know, the phone's ringing the next day with this person called back up. She says, she's an absolute angel.
Got it done?
Yeah. And when you just got home from the hospital, especially back then, you weren't able to go out shopping. So you would ask some friends to do this for you, but they weren't able to find any of that stuff.
Right. That's amazing. So great job, Linda. Were you getting calls like, I need toothpaste or things like that?
You'd be amazed at the things that people... So the back of my car is like a little bit of an Amazon distribution center.
You should write that on the side of your car.
The mayor and I both have like boxes of things because you never know if we're out on the road somewhere and somebody says, hey, I need this, and we say, wait a minute, let me grab this for you. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. There was a while that my office phone would just be
constantly
forwarded
ringing
to my cell phone, so I would not miss a call, but I check my messages frequently. So, but again, if anybody has any needs, and I come, I have a mask on. I don't go in anyone's house. I have gloves on. I make sure that everybody stays safe. I stay safe, and that's what we want to continue doing. So again, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown, but you know what? We're still here to do what we need to do, and I'm not going to stop until, we say that everybody's in a better position.
That's great to hear. See, I thought
How
I had
did you
another
ever
question.
get involved in this, Linda? What brought you into this kind of work at the city?
I love public service. I love helping people. That's just something I like to do. My dad was a police officer in Woonsocket for 35 years.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always been part of my fiber. So it's what I don't even second guess it. It's something, when you're passionate about something, it's something you do. So
I think we're very lucky to have you. Thank you.
How long have you been with the city, Linda?
20 years.
Has it been 20 years? Wow.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. 20 years.
She started when she was in kindergarten, David.
I'm extremely blessed and grateful, and I'm happy to be connected with so many wonderful people, like I said, that I probably never would have crossed paths with before. So there is a silver lining in some of this. So.
Mm-hmm. Like, what do you have? Do you have plans? Do you have like projects and things you want to get to over the summertime?
Yeah, I still, so during the day, when I'm not at the senior center, doing a food rollout, I'm doing stuff at City Hall. So there's still a huge need of people. I get calls constantly from people about housing and their for a while I was getting calls with helping people find their stimulus money. But there's still, the Department of Human Services is an extremely busy department. So I've been able to, just kind of balance my day the best I can. So it's all working out. So knock on wood for some good balance. So.
Do you get calls, Linda?
People,
Linda, do you get calls from people that are, they say they're having trouble paying their rent, and can anything be done for them?
There is, and there's constant information that's out there, so I have to constantly keep in touch of what comes out there because they're calling me as a resource because they're unable to find it. So I'm always trying to keep as in touch as I possibly can, trying to find this information for them. And, I always tell people if I can't find the answer, if I can't give you the answer right now, I'll find it for you because it's always somewhere. So we're doing the best we possibly can to make sure we give everything we can to the residents that are in need.
I like to be positive, Linda, but we know that there's going to be shutoffs coming. I think June 30th is the date that both National Grid and Verizon will lift their moratorium on shutoffs and terminations.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of an influx, and we have to be prepared for that. So, again, you have to be constantly looking for whatever information is out there that you're able to assist the residents with.
Do you contact the State House on let's say, a daily basis to get information?
I constantly check their website because that's where they funnel a lot of information as well as the Department of Health. But we also have conference calls. The municipalities have a conference call that we call in, and there's a lot of information that's given to us very frequently. But again, like I said, I'm always checking the website because it's always being updated.
Sure. You must be exhausted by the end of the day, Linda.
You know what? Some of the days are long, but I get a good deal of sleep. So, and then we start the day all over again, just like everybody else. You know what? I'm here to do a job, and I'm here to do what I can as best as I can, and hopefully we're doing what needs to be done.
Sounds great. Everything's
but
going.
Like I said, I have a passion for what I do. So
sure. Now, and you're a one-woman crew over there at City Hall, right? You don't have any staff.
I don't. I'm a one-person, one director department.
Yeah.
So when I'm not at City Hall, my messages, I'm able to check them remotely. So here we are.
Are you at Aging Well by a specific time every morning? Like, I have to be there by 10 kind of thing.
Yeah, I usually know what days I have to be there, and I always get screened before I go. So at City Hall, we have somebody that checks our temperature every day. So I always actually do it here myself just to be, proactive and make sure that I'm staying healthy. But I get screened because I'm dealing with food. So I always make sure that I go in, get screened. If I have to go up to the office, I'll do that first and do a couple things. Then I'll head over to the senior center for a couple hours, do whatever I have to do there, back to City Hall, and then at night if I'm doing Meals on Wheels deliveries, that's around 5 o'clock at night or 6.
Linda, I was glad to see they took the boards off City Hall that were there to protect the windows. I see a lot of establishments still have them up, but I was glad to see the City Hall had taken theirs down. It must have been very difficult to see that for you too, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of like a real dose of reality of, we need to make sure that we we stay safe and keep our residents safe. So I'm glad that we were able to get through that. We have an amazing public safety division, Public Safety Director Gillette, Chief Shatra, Chief Oates, Mayor Baldelli Hunt. We're constantly making sure that our residents are safe, and they have done a commendable job. So I thank them for that as a resident.
Okay. Linda Plays, Director of Human Services here in the city of Woonsocket. If you need any help that she could help you with, especially with this whole food situation, if you're not part of it and want to be part of it, just give her a call. Her number is 767-9282, and if you don't get a hold of her, you'll get back to them very quickly. Right, Linda?
I do. I make sure that I call people back as soon as I possibly can. So they need to be a little patient. If they feel like they're calling me and I'm not calling them back, it's because I'm doing something else that, but I promise to call them back.
You do. Okay, great.
I do.
All right, Linda Plays, thanks for joining us this morning on Coffee Ann.
Thanks, Linda. God bless you, dear.
Thank you. Great to be here. Take care, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
More of the Coffee Ann program is coming your way. Please stay tuned.
When you choose Kafin Oil, you're working with heating and cooling specialists who have received the most thorough and up-to-date training possible. Regardless of the make or model of your equipment, Kafin Oil works diligently to restore it to its proper working condition. Why not make sure that your heating or air conditioning system is working to maximum efficiency? Kafin Oil at 765-3881 for prompt, courteous service.
Well, the coronavirus restrictions certainly are changing the lives of everybody. That includes the folks at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining there on Main Street in Woonsocket. Now, Chan's, of course, no longer can have the Four Seasons banquet room with the special parties and all, and they certainly can't have the egg rolls and jazz, and they can't seat you in the dining room either because of restrictions. But Chan's has something that no other Chinese restaurant in the state has. A fantastic, easy-to-get-to drive-up window right in the back off Clinton Street. Now, you know how to get the Chan's from the Clinton Street parking lot. Well, right next to that is the drive-thru, and there's a sign right on the railroad trestle. Turn left, go right up in there. At Chan's, just call 765-1900 ahead, 765-1900. Great food from Chan's.
Get down to brass tacks at home with me, Bob Vila, and my tip of the day every day right here.
Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day can only be heard on ON, AM, and FM every weekday at 6:50 in the morning. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day is brought to you by Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day on ON Radio. Time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International. Today we are looking at a cloudy day today. Looks like a chance of showers this afternoon. And a high temperature today will be near 75. Tonight, cloudy skies, chance of showers and thunderstorms. Low temperature around 63. Friday, back to the sun, mostly sunny, high near 85. Friday night, mostly clear, low around 59. Saturday, mostly sunny, high near 79. And Sunday, partly sunny, a slight chance of some showers Sunday morning, and a high near 70. Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 72 degrees. Join Compassion and give hope to a family in extreme poverty during COVID-19. Give a $40 one-time gift. Text the word HOPE to 83393. That's HOPE to 83393. It is Coffee Inn on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan with Dave Richards and Bob Lauder. And Bob, time for a first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. I can't believe that I'm using a commercial from December 2008 when we had a far different financial crisis. The original commercial started off that back during the generations of our parents and grandparents, when the nation was facing extraordinary difficult financial times, President Franklin Roosevelt said that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Those words and that advice are as important today as it was on that cold inaugural morning in March of 1933. Fear of the consequences and fear of the present financial crisis has numbed some people into failing to think and plan for their future. It's made people afraid to think and plan for their future. To use a poor analogy, it's left some people sitting on the railroad tracks, stubbornly facing in the direction opposite from which the train is coming, waiting to be devastated by the impact. inaction is not security. Now is the time to plan for one's future. Now is the time to review one's expenses and income, to carefully analyze the amounts of money needed to maintain current obligations, to determine what expenses represent a priority on your funds, and what expenses may be eliminated, to plan for financial survival in the event of a reduction or loss of income. What I'm saying is plan for your future. Talk with an attorney when you first sense the possibility of financial problems. An attorney can develop a financial strategy and options for your consideration, can assist you in analyzing the consequences of your decision, and can to renegotiate loans and indebtedness. If you think my office may be of assistance to you in this or other legal matters, please telephone me for a telephone conference. My name is Bob Lauder. The telephone number is 762-4550, and the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much. All right, Bob. We got a couple of messages for you.
Uh-oh.
So you got to get ready. Okay. You got to remember to last week. And
last week.
Yeah. So and some of the things we talked about, and we got a message that was written in and kind of directed towards you, and it just says Bob Lauder missed the point from last week.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay. What was it?
Okay, well, Bob, the writer says Bob was trying to be so politically correct that he immediately pounced on the word mulatto. What they were trying to talk about, Obama was half white and half black. However, he, meaning Obama, rejected his white side and wanted to be just black. Being both, I feel, the writer, that he had and missed the perfect opportunity to bridge the gap and unite people. So,
I will respect the caller's opinion on that.
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree. I would think that rejecting one side is probably not entirely what President Obama may have been thinking of, but I also believe that by virtue of how our country and reflects on race relations, anyone who has any degree of noticeable African heritage is often considered to be black without regard to whether or not they have any other ethnic heritage included in their genetic background. And I don't think it's a question of rejecting the non-African heritage so much as it is unfortunately accepting that everyone is going to look at me in one manner and not the other.
Okay. Well, we just wanted to pass that along to you.
Good.
So
no,
now,
the caller's entitled to their opinion.
Sure.
And I can't challenge that.
Okay. And I saved this from a couple of days ago, Bob, because we needed the lawyer's opinion on this one.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And this was the case. You may have remember hearing about it. It goes back to 2018 at a audio video shop called Flint Audio Video, where a woman brought in her laptop to be fixed in some way, and she had on her computer explicit pictures of herself. Okay.
Yes.
And what the workers did is they downloaded the photos and shared them around. I don't know if they put them on the internet or not, but she found out about this, and the people were arrested and then charged. And just this past week, all charges against them were dismissed. This is the owner and the employees of this business in Middletown. The judge ruled the conduct of viewing and copying the files did not fall within the language of the state law under which they were charged. And I'm trying to find what the charges of accessing a computer for fraudulent purposes and conspiracy. Now, can these people can they be arrested again on different charges?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe they could.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the charges against you on one count were dismissed doesn't mean that the police don't have the opportunity to recharge you on other elements of the action which you took.
But isn't that rare?
I think it's rare. I think that, excuse me, the circumstances were unusual in that the section of the state law that the prosecutor was relying on talked about exploitation and almost in a sense of getting a financial gratification from having published the pictures. And that wasn't part of the original elements of what they had done. They hadn't apparently tried to blackmail the individuals or secure money from them.
No.
They had just passed the information around to their friends and used it for
their own
sexual
enjoyment.
titillation and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that didn't fall into the exact wording of the statute that the prosecutors had used. But I think they could certainly be charged again. And the individuals whose photographs were distributed, I would believe, had a right to bring a civil claim against these people. Their reputations may have been in some way hurt. They have suffered the humiliation of having photographs that they believe to be private suddenly distributed indiscriminately among people who may or may not know them. Yeah.
Is there a statute of limitations on this, Bob? Because this happened 2 years ago. Could it be done in terms of new charges?
Criminal charges, 2 years. I would believe it could be, but I don't know the criminal statute of limitations off the top of my head for something like that.
Okay.
The case for the civil action against them, I believe the statute of limitations is still running, so they'd have an opportunity to bring claims if they chose to do so.
Okay. So basically, you don't have, if you bring your computer or tablet into a retail store to be fixed in any way, is the judge saying you really have no right to privacy?
No.
No matter what's on your computer can be viewed by the workers?
No, the judge is not saying that. The judge was saying, in this particular case, when you bring charges against someone, you have to relate it back to a specific statutory crime. And in this case, the judge is saying when the prosecutor decided to bring the charges and link the actions of the defendants to a specific statutory crime, they didn't have the elements within what the allegations against the defendants to match the wording that the statutory crime actually forbid them to do. They can bring it back if they can find another action, statutory crime that the defendants have engaged in. Then they can bring it back.
Okay. Makes you wonder why the prosecutors went with this particular charge as opposed to something that might work a little better.
Well, I think part of it may be the fact that law takes a while to catch up with technology.
Yeah.
And we may not have written statutes which address this kind of activity because 25 years ago, when the statutes may have been created, this kind of activity was not physically possible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she may have gotten her ultimate satisfaction because I don't think that business is in business anymore.
No, it isn't. And I saw one other tragic, maybe it's a consequence of it, that one of the individuals who was originally charged with the crime had committed suicide.
Oh, I wasn't aware it was suicide. I know they had passed away. I wasn't aware that's by that.
I think the newspaper article indicated that.
Wow. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring that up to you. We do have another message that has come in on a completely different subject, Bob. You ready?
No,
yes.
something completely different.
It just says, defund the police. What connection does that have with abusive physical methods used by police? Regarding George Floyd as just one example of many instances. So you take away monies from policemen and allocate it in another useful way. That's great. But again, how does defunding police departments relieve police brutality?
I think the catchphrase of defund the police, to my mind, is entirely wrong.
It should be called something else.
Well, I think that the concept is that the police somehow have an overabundance of money, and this overabundance should be taken from them and used in social purposes. I'm not aware that police departments, at least locally, have an overabundance of money. I would think that police departments in many cities, which are run on a fiscally tight basis, don't have an abundance of money. And if you're taking money away from the police department right now, it means you are probably going to be cutting into some form of police activity, a lawful activity, which is protecting the citizens. and is going to make it more difficult for the police to fulfill their obligations. So I don't understand the concept of defund the police. I understand the concept of getting more money from other sources to pay for some of the social projects that they think may result in a diminution of the poverty and hardship that a number of our citizens are facing.
Well,
but defund the police it's a catchphrase that doesn't seem to me to make a whole lot of sense.
Well, look at this rally that they had in Providence yesterday, not only to defund the Providence police, but disband the Providence police. Let's just get rid of it altogether.
Well, I think that's again, an emotional position to take, but I don't think it's one that's necessarily founded in a realistic concept of how to protect a community. I saw that the police chief in Minneapolis was talking about apparently trying to almost get rid of their present police department and restructure a new one.
Yes,
and
he is
it's
saying
going to be interesting
that.
to see what exactly the chief is talking about there.
I don't know.
Because that doesn't seem to... That'll be interesting to see what he's actually coming up with. I can't envision at this time that working in any kind of a reasonable manner.
Well, it's funny because John Ward brought this up yesterday, and I can't remember the town he talked about in New Jersey yesterday. But they did this about 8 years ago, where they completely got rid of the police department and then rebuilt it from the ground up. And they ended up hiring back the good police officers and then hired new police officers and basically got rid of the bad apples. So there's precedent, and it can be done. I don't know if you can do it on such a large scale. Minneapolis is a pretty large city.
Well, Minneapolis is considering that what they really need is some reorganization, but the impediment to the reorganization is the police union.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to break the union so that they can go in and do just that, keep the good cops, and the bad cops that the union is protecting, according to the theory, they would go and find job at Walmart or some other place. And I don't know. I recall, as you do, Bob, when police officers won the right to be represented by collective bargaining. It happened in the last century, in the last portion of the last century, and it withstood Supreme Court scrutiny and all the rest of that. It's very difficult when you're in a union to not try to offer benefits to your rank and file, but sometimes rank and file contains members who want to game the system, and now you're obliged to try to protect those people.
You're very eloquent, man. You're right. And also there's a lot of, the concept of breaking a union. Again, it's a nice catchphrase, I suppose, for some political standpoint. But unions are heavily protected under federal law.
Right.
So in anything that you're doing that involves interaction with a union, you have to be very careful that you're not violating the law in what you're doing.
You probably will.
All that. And it's too bad because, unions have done a lot of good for the country, but...
Yes, they have.
I recall the controversy when the police, public service people were allowed to be represented by unions and collective bargaining agreements because earlier they hadn't been. And I remember that there was people saying, "Oh, now they're going to be they're going to have big problems with your police departments, and your fire departments, and you won't be able to afford them. It's going to be constantly more money, and then before you know it, you won't be able to get rid of the bad apples." I remember those debates, don't you, Bob?
Yes.
And unfortunately, in Minneapolis, it seems to have come true.
Yes. All right, we'll see if they are able to break the union in Minneapolis. That's what they want to do.
I would be very disappointed to see unions broken.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of middle ground here where the police officers can receive protection. But I have a feeling that and every police department will be different, just like every individual officer is different. But you know what I'm thinking, Joe, is that you've got you're going to lose something because of this bad apple and 3 compatriots that didn't have the backbone to stand up to him. You're going to lose something. Are you going to lose your funding? You're going to lose your your Policeman's Bill of Rights, because that's being looked at in Congress to see about adjusting the Policeman's Bill of Rights and take rights away from police officers.
They're looking at that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, what are you willing to lose? Because you're going to lose something.
Correct.
Well, I think the phrase Policeman's Bill of Rights is not exactly an accurate representation of what the legislation entails. In many regards, I believe the Policeman's Bill of Rights Act include providing protection to the police officers as opposed to just establishing the same kind of rights that every citizen has under the Federal Bill of Rights. I can see that may require some degree of review. They may have provided inadvertently protections from things that they did not anticipate were ever going to arise, such as the police brutality issues.
Okay. We do got to take another break here on the Coffee and program. So, Bob, it's time for a second message from your law office.
Thank you. I'd like to talk to you this morning about collection agencies and the tactics which are presently being used against debtors. I've received calls from clients who've been the targets of collection agencies. Frequently, the contact begins with a call from an agent and accelerates to threats from the agent that unless the debtor makes an immediate agreement to pay a portion of the alleged debt, usually through a MoneyGram or automatic withdrawal from the debtor's checking account, the agent will place an attachment upon the debtor's wages or will issue a warrant for the defendant's arrest. Please understand that some of these allegations are false. Unless litigation has been brought against the debtor in court, debt collection agencies do not have the right to attach the wages of any individual living or working in Rhode Island. Furthermore, debt collection agencies do not have the power to issue warrants for the arrest of an alleged debtor. Before you make any agreement to pay a portion or all of an alleged debt, before you send any MoneyGrams to a collection agency, before you provide anyone with your checking account number and bank routing number, please consult an attorney. An attorney will be able to review the claims the agent is making against you. An attorney will be able to tell you what rights the agent has to attempt to collect the debt, and what defenses and rights you have to avoid fulfilling the demands of the collection agent. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please call my office for a telephone conference. My telephone number is area code 401-762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thank you. And more of the Coffee and program is coming your way. Please stay tuned. Riverfront patio dining awaits you at River Falls Restaurant. Enjoy your lunch or dinner as you overlook the Blackstone River. Here are some of the wonderful items on the menu: steak and peppers pizza, baked stuffed haddock, and choice filet mignon. Make your River Falls Restaurant reservations today by calling 401-235-9026. 235-9026, or go online to riverfallscomplex.com. You'll love the Riverfront Patio Dining at River Falls Restaurant, Market Square, Woonsocket.
Old Orchard Farm is open and ready to serve you right through October. They'll begin with their busy spring season featuring hundreds of annuals, hanging plants, arrangements, and green plants. Later, they'll feature fresh fruits and vegetables, including all the native produce. Come enjoy their outdoor courtyard stocked with hundreds of annuals, versatile and ideal for large spaces and small areas. Add color to a shady spot. Ask Luke about compatible varieties for early spring and summer. Old Orchard Farm, located on Old River Road, Manville. Also featuring fresh eggs, Rhode Island honey, garden tools, potting mix, and outdoor decor. Old Orchard Farm, a little bit of country near the city.
Hey, this is Dave Koz, and this weekend on the Dave Koz Radio Show, we welcome back bassist Julian Vaughn to the program. He's got some hot new music to share, and I know you'll want to be here for that. Check out DaveKoz.com during the week and be here this weekend for Julian Vaughn and more wonderful music for your weekend on the Dave Koz Radio Show.
Hello, fans of smooth jazz. The Dave Koz Radio Show can only be heard on ON, AM, and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, every Sunday, twice on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and again 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. It's the Dave Koz Radio Show, and it's right here on
ON, AM, and FM.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan with Dave Richards. Bob Lauder is with us on the phone. Still with us, Bob?
Yes.
All right. So, Bob, we got a story for you now, and it's got to deal basically with freedom of speech, and where does freedom of speech end, and where's the line drawn? Because the Boston Red Sox they've come out and they have acknowledged that, yes, some of their fans hurl racial slurs at the opposing players, mostly the African Americans, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dave and I were discussing this off air. One of the reasons that the players can hear the racial slurs being thrown at them is because of the configuration of Fenway Park. The fans are so close to the game. These newer parks, the fans are much farther away, and so they probably can't hear what's being yelled at them. It just becomes noise. But Boston, you're very, very close. So, especially if you're on deck. I mean, you're like 6 feet. It's social distancing. You're 6 feet away, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Bob, is racial slurs protected by First Amendment speech?
Yes.
Okay, but now the Red Sox say they're going to deal with whatever that means. Deal with these people that are saying the bad words.
I think they have the right to do that as well.
Okay.
Certainly, a fan has the right to express themselves in any way they choose, no matter how unpleasant or vulgar it may be.
Okay.
But I think the Red Sox management also has the right to say, okay, we want to protect our players, and we find
and the other players,
any players.
Yeah.
We find that having racial slurs thrown at them during the course of the game has a deleterious impact on their physical being, on their mental status, any number of things. And therefore, to protect the health, the security, the mental status of our players, we are going to forbid people from doing that in our park. That doesn't mean that they can't do it anywhere else, but if they want to participate in something that we are running in our closed, confined area, they have to abide by our rules. And that could be one of them, yes.
So you just wonder where the line is. I mean, you can yell to the right fielder, your mother wears combat boots.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Because
that could be sexist, Joe.
I guess you're right.
Just try to stay. The way that people have been in the way politically correct, it's not even politically correct is the problem anymore. It's that if you displease anybody anywhere at any time, you're wrong and you should leave the planet. Is the attitude that's getting to be out there. And it just reminds me over and over and over again of that picture of Margaret Hamilton in the green makeup and the costume of the Wicked Witch of the West in the Wizard of Oz movie. Just try to stay out of my way.
But it's been like that, especially in sports, since the beginning of time. You want to rattle the other team.
Right.
And so they make a mistake, physically or mentally. So you start razzing them.
Pitches blow.
That's right. That happened from Little League. And,
right.
Batter.
Right.
Swing batter. That kind of thing. So, but where's the line, Bob?
I think the line is drawn in many ways. One is with regard to social perception as to what is an appropriate term or epithet to throw at somebody, and then the other line would be what the management of the institution that's running the particular event considers to be appropriate. And if the management says, hey, to come into the park, you have to abide by certain rules.
It does say that on the back of the ticket.
Well, no, but there's certain rules that are probably implicit in it. I would imagine, I haven't seen a baseball ticket in my entire life, man.
Well, no one's read the back of them, but it's there.
Okay, but I would imagine it probably has something. It would be implicit that if you were coming to the park, you could not be accompanied by a kangaroo. You have to come on your own, and if the kangaroo is your support animal, you're going to have to leave the kangaroo in the car.
Okay.
It doesn't say that on the ticket,
no,
but it's common acceptance. And if the management says, hey, we don't want to have anybody in here who has a support animal in the shape of a kangaroo, great. They have the right to do that.
Bob, the way they word it, by the way, is the legal mechanism is to avoid all rights, is that when you accept this ticket, you are being given a license to trespass on this property, and there are restrictions. You agree to it by holding the ticket and walking through the door. So whatever rules they make up, you have agreed to. even if you didn't know what the rules were. That's the legal mechanism they get for suspending your rights when you go into the ballpark.
And you are good. You are really good at that.
McCoy Stadium always had an announcement read by the PA guy for years.
Oh, yeah.
And that tried to cover everything. And they always said, no bad language kind of thing. But the one we always laughed at is it may be a word now, but it's rowdyism.
Yeah.
And so there'll be no rowdyism. And we're like, is that a real word?
Right.
And
control yourself or we will evict you.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so vague. Well, what's rowdy? Well, we'll know it when we see it.
In general context, it's any behavior that affects the enjoyment of the game by other patrons is behavior we do not approve of.
All right, one more subject to get to before we go. Rhode Island State Education Commissioner Angelica Fonte Green says no more snow days in Massachusetts.
All right.
It's not going to snow. She's part
Computers, Foster Gloucester.
No. All right. I understand what she's trying to do. We have the distance learning in place, so if it's going to snow and it's not good to come to school, the kids will just log on to their computers at home and go from there. Okay, that makes perfect sense. However, being a former child myself, I know if it's snowing today and, looks like school tomorrow, I'm not logging on to my computer.
Yeah.
The dog ate the computer. The little sister spilled her milk on it. I had to go shovel. There's a whole sorts of things. You're going to have snow days. It's just
you're just going to have makeups.
Well, now it's going to be makeup day. Yeah. I mean, the teachers will log on and say, okay, here's your assignments for today, but please get them done within a week. Okay. Snow day. Woo-hoo. That's just the way I see it, Bob. Do you think it's going to work?
I have no idea. What I really should do is visit somebody who allows me into the house with a mask on to see how the computerized teaching works right now, because I'm not really sure if I understand how that concept is working out.
Well, meet me at my house in 1 hour. I'll show you how my daughter does it. And it's, but what?
Then you're going to be asking me. You're going to have your daughter prime me with questions about baseball. I'm going to look like an idiot. I mean, I don't want to humiliate myself.
There are so many conflicting laws out there. Yeah. They have, don't go out in the snow, don't do this. Now you're going to have to go to school like that. And then there's also a law in the books in many communities that within 2 hours that the snow stops, then you have to have your sidewalks and everything else shoveled.
Within 2 hours?
Within 2 hours. It's a statute.
Wow.
One of the things I think is going to be difficult.
You have so many conflicting laws.
Yeah.
So, what's a citizen to do?
Go ahead, Bob.
In starting school this year is not only going to be how you space the children out within the building structure, but how you're going to transport all those kids who usually relied on school buses. Because if you're social distancing, you're not packing the school bus with this full amount of children.
I'm thinking we're crossing our fingers,
the theory,
things will be a lot better in August.
The theory is they're going to have half the kids in school and half the kids distance learning. That means you only have to put half as many people on school buses, et cetera, like that. They're ideas. Nobody's been able to... you can't prove if it works, but they're ideas. At least you have ideas. Without ideas, you go nowhere.
All right.
And by the way, when the school took over, this was part of Infante Green's announcement that the State Department of Education is taking over every school calendar in every community, and you're all going to be the same. You're all starting on August 31st. You're all going to end on this date over there. No school days, no makeups, nothing like that. And by the way, you get the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off.
A lot of communities were either doing that already, or they were doing a half a day on that day. Yeah. But you get it anyway. So why don't you? It's going to come to a point where we're just going to have that week.
Yeah,
we just keep backing it up.
It's amazing. You work Monday, Tuesday, and then you